BookTube. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and today I want to do a little catch-up video because earlier in the month for middle grade May, one of the themes for the week, it was either week 1 or week 2, was to recommend some heartbreaking reads that are middle grade books. And I've kind of been thinking on that all month. I missed it when it was that appropriate week, and I still wanted to kind of catch up. Now the current week, week 5, is supposed to be diverse reads that show diversity in a positive way, and I haven't taken time to actually look and see what I would recommend in that category. I'm actually reading one right now that I think fits that category pretty well. So if I get that video done, it'll have to be after the fact. I might even save it till next year. But for now, though, I have been thinking about some heartbreaking reads that I wanted to recommend. So I had a list of 5, and I've added one to that list that I just finished. So I'll kind of give that an honorable mention, and then I will also echo some of the recommendations that some of the other hosts and participants have mentioned as also books that I would agree with their recommendation that they're heartbreaking. So my top 5. Now, let me preface it by saying to talk about heartbreaking reads is very difficult to tell you without giving spoilers, because a lot of times if I tell you why it's heartbreaking, then that ruins the whole book. So I'm really not going to tell you why these books are heartbreaking. You'll just have to trust me on that. But I will try to tell you just a tiny bit about the book and let you know that I definitely do recommend them. So all the first 4 of these have all been Sunshine State books, and I found 3 of them because of that, and then the other one was a Sunshine State book, and it was also a Newbery winner, so I found it mainly because it was a Newbery winner. So the first one I want to talk about is Counting by Sevens by Holly Goldberg Sloan. Now, the heartbreaking part of this takes place very early on, but even that I don't want to tell you because it's just such a part of the story. But it is about a young girl, and she suffers something very tragic, and then has to face going forward in the future with all of that's happened. And it also shows diversity in a very positive way. So I could go ahead and give that a shout out. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And we have another book by Holly Goldberg, that's a mouthful, Holly Goldberg Sloan on our current Sunshine State list, the one that's for this coming school year, called Short, and I just started it today, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, so the next one is called Homesick by Kate Kleiss. And I looked up a video finally, and I heard her introducing herself, and it's Kleiss. I've been saying Kleiss, but it's Kleiss, which makes sense because K-L-I-S-E, long E on the end. So this book is heartbreaking because it is about a hoarder, a dad who is a hoarder to the point that his marriage is over and his wife has left him, and their son is still living with their father in this hoarded house, and just wondering what he can do to help his father. So it's tragic in that that's a thing, that's a possibility. And I really thought it was a very good book, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And then the next one, The Lions of Little Rock. It's by Kristen Levine, and this is a historical fiction book set in Arkansas right at the time of desegregation, and it is about 2 friends. The heartbreaking part of this is that one of them is part African American, and in the earlier part of the book, she is posing as white in order to now I think even at this point, I can't remember exactly where it starts. If it's I think it's, anyway, it's right when desegregation is happening, so there's still a lot of racial prejudice. And so anyway, these 2 girls are friends, and the one who is white has no idea that the other girl is part African American, and she's light skin color, and I don't think it would matter to her to begin with, but she does eventually find out, and then of course there is a huge backlash and a lot of just a lot of horrible things that happen. I thought it was just a fantastic story, and it's just still, I'm 53. It's hard to believe that things like that happened in my lifetime. Anyway, I highly recommend it. And then this one was the Sunshine State book for 3rd to 5th grade, and it is a Newbery winner, The One and Only Ivan by Christina Applegate. I don't have a dust jacket on. This was a library book sale copy that I picked up. It is such an easy read, though. It looks a lot thicker than it is. If you've never read this, you just need to read it. This is heartbreaking in that it's an animal story, and anytime you have animals that can talk and communicate and express themselves, I'm going to get teared up. So this was sweet and endearing, but just sad how the animals were living in the condition that they were in. And anyway, I just highly recommend this one. Okay, so then my last one was not a Sunshine State book as far as I know, but it was a Newbery winner. It's called Out of the Dust by Karen Hess, and I was attracted to this book first of all because it's a Newbery winner, and then I noticed, I found out that it was set in Oklahoma, which is where I grew up, and it's about a girl in the Dust Bowl days, and it is heartbreaking and tragic. There's I don't even want to go into the details, but just so many things happen in this book. It is written in verse, so it is a very quick read, and just really a fantastic book. I highly recommend this one. All right, then just to echo a few that some of my co-hosts and middle grade May participants have already mentioned. The Honest Truth by Danica Meinhardt is about a little boy who was diagnosed, well, he's been fighting cancer, and he decides that he doesn't want to die in a hospital. He wants to climb a mountain, even if that's where he dies. And it's just really touching and sweet, and I love the book. Then also The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. I won't tell you why this is heartbreaking, because that doesn't happen till the very end, but it's a fantastic story, again, written in verse, very easy to read, about twins who play basketball. One of them has a girlfriend, and one of them doesn't, and that is kind of causing a little rift between them. That's kind of what's going on in the earlier parts of the book. Then also, Ed Shara mentioned several older classic books, and a couple of them I had on my shelf. They're Newbery winners. Bridge to Terabithia, it's by Catherine Patterson, and Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor. I didn't know till she said it that this is like 4th in a series. I read it not having read anything prior to it, and thinking back, it makes sense that it was, because there were things going on, and I'm thinking it feels like I should already know about this, and I didn't. So I want to go back and read some of the earlier books in this series. I think there may be quite a few in the series. I don't even know what the series is called, but this was a very good book, very tragic. And then I said I was going to give one honorable mention for a book I just finished. I've already talked about this recently, The Red Pencil by Andrea Davis Pinkney. I just finished this month, like a few days ago, and it is about the conflict in Sudan that started in 2003, 2004, and a young girl who was caught right in the middle of it. And I highly recommend it. Again, written in verse and with wonderful illustrations. So those are my my picks for heartbreaking reads. And I guess that's it for this video. Do you have any other recommendations for heartbreaking books that you would recommend to me? I would love to know what they are. So if you haven't seen any of the other videos that were done by any of the other participants in middle grade May, I will link all of their videos down below. Abby Johnson did one. She's Abby the Librarian. Snazzy Reads did one. And Ed Shara from Shara Me with Books. That may be all that I can think of. Well, that is all I can think of. That may be all of them. But if I find that there's others, then I will link those down below. So while I'm here, I want to quickly do the drawing for my giveaway. By the time this video is uploaded, I will have already contacted this person, so they'll know who the winner is. But I've just put them in a little bowl here, all the entries, the people who, hang on one second. I dropped one, and I couldn't do that. I've just put all the entries in this little bowl. I'm going to draw one out, and I'll show you who it is. So here we go. I'm not looking. Okay, I got one. It is, oh, it's Amby Crafts Reads. So I already have Amber's address. So Amber, I will be getting these books mailed out to you. It is Finally and 13 Gifts. Also, let me know if you have the first one, because I'm willing to go ahead and give up my copy of the first book. It's 11 Birthdays. It's horrible. My copy's in horrible condition, but I will go ahead and send it to you if you need it. So that's all for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.